Imagine being the leader of a nation at war, a high-profile target for assassination, and every move you make could be a matter of life and death. That's the reality for Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy. But the president must move, and he does so with intrigue and secrecy. How does the leader travel under such circumstances? What paths does he take? What risks does he face? Hello and welcome back to Lux Underground. In today's video, we'll look into the secretive world of Zelenskyy's travels. From undisclosed routes to mysterious destinations, let's unravel the fascinating story of how Ukraine's president manages to travel under the radar, bypassing threats and maintaining his steadfast commitment to his people. Background: Volodymyr Zelenskyy. Volodymyr Zelenskyy, Ukraine's unlikely president, has become a symbol of national resolve. Born on January 25, 1978 in Kryvyi, his early career was far from politics, as he thrived in the world of comedy and entertainment. It was his lead role in the TV show Servant of the People, where he played a fictional president that thrust him into the political spotlight. Running a campaign that promised to break from traditional politics, Zelenskyy won the 2019 presidential election with an overwhelming 73% of the vote. But his tenure has been anything but a comedy. When war erupted in February 2021, he didn't shy away from the front lines. He repeatedly made visits to the battlefield, standing shoulder to shoulder with his troops, symbolizing unity and courage. In one memorable incident, when offered evacuation from a dangerous zone, he defiantly responded, "I need ammunition, not a ride." This bold stance captured the hearts of Ukrainians, with his approval rating reaching 60% in late 2021. Safety concerns: a president on the radar. While exploring the mysteries of his secret travels, it's crucial to understand the backdrop of danger that necessitates such secrecy. President Volodymyr Zelenskyy's safety stands as a pressing concern for Ukraine and the international community alike. The relentless conflict since February 2021 has placed him directly in the crosshairs of dangers both seen and unseen. At the front line of these threats is the ever-present risk of assassination. Given the symbolic defiance he embodies against aggressors, Zelenskyy is more than a president. He is a direct challenge to those who seek to destabilize Ukraine. Reports of assassination plots, including one thwarted in March 2021 during a frontline visit, punctuate the tangible risks he faces daily. Such threats underscore not just his personal vulnerability, but the broader challenges Ukraine endures in this conflict. Beyond the direct threats, the digital realm has not been a sanctuary either. In April 2021, a significant 50% spike in cyber threats targeting Ukraine governmental infrastructure was recorded. Such attacks, while less overt than a physical assault, seek to disrupt Zelenskyy's leadership and Ukraine's governance. The perilous journey of Zelenskyy's presidency, marked by genuine risks to his life and leadership, magnifies the broader narrative of Ukraine's struggle. International travel challenges. Traveling abroad has become a massive puzzle for President Volodymyr Zelenskyy due to the ongoing conflict. Since the war kicked off in February 2021, flying in and out of Ukraine has become really tricky, not just for regular folks, but also for big names like Zelenskyy. Before the conflict, planes regularly flew in and out of Ukraine, connecting it with the rest of the world. But now most international airlines have stopped their flights to Ukraine because of safety worries. In March 2021, a group called the International Air Transport Association, IATA, said that there were about 80% fewer flights into Ukraine than the year before. This isn't just about missing flights, it shows how Ukraine has become more cut off from other countries. Traveling by road has its own set of problems. Roads, especially those going east, are dangerous. For example, in April 2021, some people trying to bring aid to Donetsk were attacked while driving and many were hurt. These scary events are a big warning for people like Zelenskyy who need to travel. But Zelenskyy still needs to meet with leaders from other countries. With flying being difficult, he has to find other ways to get around. Only a few border crossings with friendly countries like Poland and Hungary are open. There was a story in 2021 from a news outlet called Ukrainska Pravda that talked about Zelenskyy secretly taking a train to Poland and then catching a plane from there. This sneaky way of traveling shows just how hard it is to keep him safe. Traveling like this isn't just tough, It's also stressful. Someone from Ukraine said in June 2021, "Every trip is like a gamble, weighing up, doing your job against staying safe." For Zelenskyy, this means traveling quietly with just a few people without the usual big deal that comes with being a president. Looking at how Zelenskyy travels, it's clear he's a strong and clever leader. At a time when it's easy to fly around the world, Ukraine's leader shows just how much he's willing to do to keep safe while still fighting for his country. Whether he's traveling in secret or out in the open, his journeys tell a story of a country that's determined to push through tough times. The mystery trip to the US. The mysterious journey of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy to the United States began on a covert note and became one of the most intriguing diplomatic events of recent times. When a US military aircraft landed in Rzeszów, Poland, on Tuesday, the crew thought they were picking up the US ambassador to Ukraine and some officials. Instead, they were astonished to find Zelenskyy himself. This journey started with a dangerous 400-mile trip from Bakhmut, a site of severe fighting, to the Polish border, culminating in this unexpected flight to Washington. The secrecy surrounding this visit highlighted the unique risks faced by a leader in wartime, with Russian forces aiming to destabilize the government he leads. The urgency of the trip, planned in a matter of days, was evident. To prevent security breaches, much of the communication occurred in person, exemplified by US Ambassador Bridget Brink's direct meetings with Zelenskyy's team in Kiev. This unexpected visit was not merely symbolic. It had strategic importance. Zelenskyy's travel route, which was reported by Ukrainska Pravda, emphasized a train journey to Poland and a subsequent flight to the US. Why choose this route? Safety measures were paramount, and both leaders, facing enormous stakes, were keen to meet in person. On December 21st, Zelenskyy's visit to the US marked his first international trip since Russia's invasion. During his brief 9.5 hours in the US, he made powerful arguments that Ukraine was capable of winning the war and sought support for the grueling battle ahead. The visit was also an effort to bolster support among lawmakers, particularly as Republicans skeptical of sending aid were about to take control of the House. Senator Chris Murphy, Decon, who attended Zelenskyy's speech to Congress, stressed the impact of the Ukrainian president's presence, stating, "His very presence is a reminder of how dangerous it is to discount the power of the idea of Ukraine." The visit was seen as instrumental in maintaining support for Ukraine funding. Specific incidents added weight to the narrative. On December 11th, during a call between Presidents Biden and Zelenskyy, a crucial decision was made regarding Ukraine's air defense. Biden informed Zelenskyy that the US would likely provide Kiev with a Patriot missile battery, fulfilling a top request. Additionally, $37 billion in supplemental funding assistance for Ukraine was discussed, with lawmakers aiming to pass $45 billion within days. Zelenskyy's urgency to make the trip was driven by the news of the Patriot missile system, symbolizing not only gratitude but a united front against adversity. It was an emblematic gesture, thanking the US government, Congress, and the American public while seeking support for the challenging winter of combat. In the end, Zelenskyy's secret journey was not just about appearances or political posturing. It was a tangible demonstration of unity, resolve, and the shared values that bind nations together in trying times. It was a complex web of negotiations, planning, and strategic considerations, all handled with extreme confidentiality to protect the safety of a leader willing to brave considerable risks for the sake of his country and its alliance with the US. Amidst the brutal winter of fighting, the trip stood as an incredible signal of unity, with Zelenskyy arriving on the 300th day of the invasion, emphasizing that we're going in united. The secrecy, the support, and the symbolism all coalesced into a compelling tale of diplomacy at its most vital and urgent. Why the secrecy matters. The secretive nature of President Volodymyr Zelenskyy's undisclosed movements isn't merely a matter of security. It's a strategic chess move in the high-stakes geopolitical game. When Zelenskyy covertly traveled to the United States on December 21st, it demonstrated Ukraine's acute awareness of the political chessboard. Similarly, Zelenskyy's sudden appearance in Washington disrupted the calculations of opponents. This unexpected move rattled the confidence of adversaries, making them question their intelligence capabilities and forcing them to reassess their strategies to Ukraine's foes. The covert maneuver emphasized that predicting Ukraine's next step wouldn't be as straightforward as they had thought, as an exasperated Russian official was quoted. "If we can't even know when he leaves his country, what else are we missing?" The undisclosed journey of Zelenskyy had a deep resonance on the home front for Ukrainians already burdened by the conflict and over 10,000 casualties by 2022. The news of his safe trip was a morale boost. This wasn't just travel. It symbolized Ukraine's resilience and strategic acumen. A Kiev resident aptly summed it up, saying, "Learning about his safe travel felt like a personal victory." The moral uplift extended beyond civilians to the Ukrainian troops. Facing daunting challenges, the news of their president's bold international maneuvers for support, including the notable $45 billion aid from the US, reinforced them. One frontline soldier remarked, "It proves he's battling for us everywhere." In a world where every move is watched and dissected, Zelenskyy's undisclosed journey symbolized more than just diplomacy. It epitomized hope, strategy, and unwavering commitment to his nation. As Ukrainians found solace, one has to wonder, what other bold steps might leaders take when the stakes are this high? What would you do for your country's future? Thank you for joining us on Lux Underground. Until next time, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep chasing the extraordinary.